Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to discuss about the correlation and ranking filter method for feature selection. This method we can also use to check the multicollinearity in features. So before starting the video, I am assuming that you are familiar with the Pearson correlation coefficient, Spearman rank coefficient and Kendall rank coefficient. So if you are not familiar with these terms, please check out my video. I will mention the link in the description. First I am going to discuss about the covariance and then we will discuss about the correlation because both are interrelated to each other. So let's discuss what is the covariance. We have three features A, B, C, and let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we can say that 10, 9, 8, 7. These three features we have. Okay, if we plot the scatter plot A and B, okay, so we can say that this is your 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? This is your 5, 6, 7 and 8. So we can say once we have 1, we have 5, 2 is this and this, like this. Okay, so we can say that once the A increase, B is also increasing, right? So we can say that this has a positive relation. It means once the A is increasing, B is also increasing. It means A and B both are positively correlated, right? If we want to check the B and C, between B and C, this is positive. So we want to check whether B and C are positively or the negatively correlated. How we can do that? Let's check this. This is your B and this is your C, right? So we can say that 5, 6, 7, 8 and this is your 7, 8, 9, 10. If I will plot this, we will like this type of the. So we can say that once the B is increasing, C is decreasing. It means it has a negative correlation. So covariance tells about the positivity or the negativity. It means how they are correlated, whether they are positive correlated or whether they are negative correlated. Covariance only tells about these things. If I will tell you how much they are positively correlated, it means if we have 100%, I can say that A and B are 100% correlated. But by using this particular graph or by using the covariance, you cannot tell that how much they are correlated. You can only tell in which direction they are going. They are going the positive direction or they are into the negative direction. But you cannot tell you the strength or the magnitude of the correlation. That we can get with the help of correlation, like your Pearson or Spearman and your Kendall. By using these three techniques, we can get the correlation, which tells about the strength or the magnitude of the correlation. So this section we have covered. Now we are going to cover the correlation. As I told you, if they have a positively correlated or a negatively correlated, so correlation tells about the magnitude or the strength of the correlation that we can get with the help of different technique like your Pearson or Spearman or a Kendall rank. So now we are going to perform the correlation with the help of Python, and I am going to use the data frame correlation method here. First I am going to import the required libraries. I will also use the SciPy where I will use the stats module. So I am going to create the two array here. It is in the increasing order and by in the decreasing order, right? So ideally it should provide you the negative covariance. So first I am going to plot the scatter plot. If you see here, this is your negatively correlated. So first I am going to check the covariance. How we can check the covariance? You can use the numpy np.covariance cop method, where you have to enter the array. Here I am going to mention the x and y array. So what it will provide you? It will provide you the array here, where you can see this diagonal, right? This diagonal will tell you about the positive or the negative covariance. If sign is negative, it will tell you about the negative covariance, and if it is positive, it means variables are the positively correlated. Here our variables are the negatively correlated. We can also use this. It will directly tell you the negative by using the 0, 1. Now what I am going to tell you, I am going to create a new data frame. In this new data frame, you can see both are positively correlated. Let's use the same formula here. Now you can see I am getting the positive, right? It means both variable x and y are positively correlated, but it is not telling about the magnitude. So how we can get magnitude, we will see later. Here I am going to create some random number. You can see first I am going to plot the scatter plot. If you see here in the scatter plot, if I will plot the regression line, so my regression line would be like this. So it is telling about something positive correlation, right? Most of the data lie on both sides. If you see here, so it is telling about the positive correlation, but what is the magnitude, how much they are correlated, right? So that we are not able to get here. If you see here, if I will use the covariance will tell you about the positivity, but how much they are correlated, right? That we cannot able to get with the help of covariance. So for that we will use the correlation method. First I am going to use the Pearson correlation coefficient. In the Pearson correlation coefficient, what we used to do, if our data is linearly correlated, it means A and B. If we'll plot the scatter plot, this is your linear graph or this is your linear graph. If our data have this type of the relationship, right? If I will plot the distribution of this data, the distribution will be like this. It means normally distributed. If our data is in linear fashion and distribution is normally distributed, then we perform the Pearson correlation coefficient method. This is a parametric method. Parametric method. It means by using this, we get the parameter of the population. That's why it is called as a parametric test. Here we have a correlation between 1 to -1. If our correlation is 1, it means both are highly correlated. If our coefficient is -1, it is highly negatively correlated. If is 0, it means there is no relationship, no linear correlation between two variables. Now let's perform the hands-on. What I am going to do, I am going to create one data frame here. I created this data frame where target data we have this, and this is your some features. So I am going to check the relationship, whether they have positively or whether they have a negatively. Then we will check the magnitude of the correlation. So here you can see I divided the data into the x and y, it means features and target. Then I am going to plot the scatter plot on full data. This is your full data. It will show you the target and all the features. So now you can see your target is your this line, right? This particular line target, and these all are your features. So A is your blue line, this, it means A and your target, this T and this your A, these are positively correlated, you can see, right? And B is your this, So B and target is your negatively correlated, right? Then C is your this green line. It means C and your target is positively correlated. And D is your this line. This line and your target both seems like negatively correlated, right? And E, this is your non-linear, like your this particular. So B cannot tell you about any correlation because initially it is in negative, then it is in positive. So let's check with the help of Python how we can perform this. So first I am going to use the Pearson correlation method. In the Pearson you can see that I am going to use the matplotlib. Here I am going to use the correlation method. In the data frame, method is your Pearson. Here we can use your, if you see here we can change this Pearson, Kendall and Spearman. Any method we can use. And then I am going to use this Seaborn. Here I am going to plot the heat map. How we can do that? Let's see. Here you can easily see that if I will check the correlation of the feature, these are your features and this is your target. This is your target, okay, and I will check the correlation with the A. This is your 0.99. It means positively correlated. It means highly correlated. This is your negative, right? This is your highly negatively correlated. Highly positively correlated, highly negatively correlated. Here we are not able to get anything, right? It means neutral, 0 almost. So this way we can perform the correlation with the help of Pearson and by using the heat map. Now what I am going to use? I am going to use the heat map only between the features. Here what I did, I used features and target. These your features A, B, C, D, E and your target. Now I am only going to use the features. You can see now. If I will tell you what is the correlation between the feature A and B, okay, A and B, if you see here, A and B, this is your A to A is 1, A to B is your -1. It means highly negatively correlated. A and C positively correlated, A and D negatively correlated, A and E nothing. We are not able to get anything. So what we can do here, if A and C, if you see A and C both are highly positively correlated, almost 1. So we can remove any one of the features, A or C, because both the features will have the same type of the information. So we can use any features, A or C, any features. So this way we can perform the feature selection, right? If we have like 10 features, right, and if let A, B, C, D, E, F, these features we have, and B, C, D are highly correlated, so we can only keep the one variable and we can delete the remaining 2 variables. So this way we can perform the feature selection. Now let's check how we can use the other methods. Here what I am going to use, I am going to use the Pearson, and here I use the heat map, right? So I am going to use the matrix. You can see this is your one matrix. We can directly, if I will not plot this, right, if I will delete this, you can see it will provide you the complete matrix. Like A and A, what is the relation between A and A and B, if you want to only get this particular row. So you can use this particular 0 to 1. 0 to 1, it means 0 will include and 1 will not be included. It means this particular column. You can see this way we can get the correlation. Now I am going to use the stats module. By using the SciPy, we can use the stats module where we can directly use this Pearson correlation coefficient method. Here you can see, here we have to mention the features name, A and B, A and C, A and D, A and E, A and target. Let's check what the value we are getting, right? We are getting the same value. If you see here, A and B, this first one, 99.58, we are getting the same correlation coefficient value. So this way we can use either heat map, or we can use this particular matrix, or we can use the stats module to get the correlation coefficient value. Now I am going to discuss about the Spearman rank coefficient and Kendall rank correlation coefficient. You can check out my video related to both the topics where I explain in more details. Just for your convenience, you can understand such a way. Here we have some features A and B. Okay, we have features A and B, so we create rank of A and rank of B. Let 1 2 4 5 6 7 10 11. Okay, so what will be the rank? 1 2 3 and 4. This would be the rank of the column A. What would be the rank here? Let's 1 2 3 and 4. Okay, what if I will mention 15 and 11, then what would be the rank here? 1 2, this will be your 4, then 3. So these rank we use to calculate the coefficient for Spearman and Kendall. Both have a different formula. You can check out my video for the more details. And one more thing, this is your non-parametric test. Both are your non-parametric test, and both can perform on the non-linear data. It means this type of the data. And also one more thing, variable should be monotonic function. What is the monotonic? Monotonic function means increasing or decreasing in a particular interval. Here it is increasing then decreasing, increasing then decreasing. It means decreasing in a particular interval and also increasing in a particular interval. That is called as your monotonic function. And also value lie between +1 and -1, same as we have in the Pearson correlation. Let's check how we can do that. For more details, you can either check out my video or you can go through these particular lines. Same thing I have explained in my video in more details. Please check out my video for this particular understanding. Now what I am going to do, I am going to create the linear data first. You can see here, this is your linear data. It is first increasing, then constant, then again increasing. It means increasing or decreasing in a particular interval. It is a monotonic function. Now I am going to create the data frame. I am assigning the column name X and Y. Now I am going to perform all the three methods here: Pearson, Spearman and Kendall. Let's check which one perform better with the non-linear data. Same method, correlation method in the data frame. Same thing I am gonna use here. You can see here what I am getting. I am getting 0.922 correlation coefficient with the help of Pearson, but rank coefficient I am getting with the help of Spearman and Kendall 1:1. It means Pearson doesn't perform well on the non-linear data, but Spearman and Kendall perform better on the non-linear data if the data is a monotonic. Now let's check again, create a non-linear data set and non-monotonic. This data is your monotonic. Let's create the data which is non-linear. This is non-linear and monotonic. Let's create the data which is non-linear but non-monotonic. It means it can increase or decrease in any order, in any interval. Let's do it. If you see here, this is your non-monotonic function. You don't have any interval of the increasing or decreasing. So let's check. Going to display the data frame. Now using the same thing here, you can see what is the target and X and target. I am getting the 0.17, 0.19 and 0.13. It means all the three methods are not performing well on non-linear and non-monotonic functions. So on this type of the data, we don't use the correlation methods. Let's use the stats library. We have already used the stats library above. Then I am again going to use the stats library here just for your second example for the stats. Here I am going to use the for loop for each variable, just taking the feature 1, then target, feature 2, then target, feature 3, then target. This way we can check. You can see feature 1 and target, feature 1 and target, what is the correlation? We are getting this feature 2 and target, this correlation, feature 3 and target, this correlation. This way we can perform the correlation with the help of stats library. Here we are getting the 2 value. If you see here I use the 0. It means first. So what does it mean by the second terms here? Second term tell you about the p value. P value. Let's check what the help show. If you see here, help is showing p value roughly indicate the probability of uncorrelated system producing dataset that have a Pearson correlation at least as extreme as the one captured from this dataset. It means this is showing the uncorrelated probability. This is the correlated probability, we can say. This is the uncorrelated probability. This probability, it means this percentage, these data are not correlated. It means 87% they are correlated and 13% they are not correlated. Now I am going to use the some data set where I am going to check how we can perform the correlation filter method feature selection technique to perform the feature selection. So for that I am going to use this particular bike share data set. Here you can see these are the features we have, and this is your count. Count is your output variable, it means labels. If you see here casual and registered, okay, both, if you will add both things, right, you will get the output data. That's why I am going to delete these two particular columns here, because sum of these two columns is equal to your count. So these two features will not add any information during the machine learning training. So that's why I'm gonna delete this. So currently what I'm going to do here, I'm going to plot the regression plot on all the features here. You can see this is your season feature, holiday, working day, and your temp, a temp, humidity and bind speed. If I will plot the regression plot, you can see this is your positively correlated, this is also your positively correlated. It means target and your feature, target and your feature, it is your negatively correlated. This is almost positively, right? Bind speed and count. So count and temp, and count and temp is mostly positively correlated. It means more than 0.5, we can say that. So by the regression plot we can find out the how they are correlated to each other. But if you have like 100 columns, you cannot use this particular plotting. You can directly perform the Python coding. It's just for your analysis. It is a part of your EDA. Let's use plot, heat map and check the correlation between the target and feature. So first what I am going to use, I am going to check the correlation between this particular count, it means output variable, and the input variable, your features and your output variable. So what I am going to do, you can see here, I am going to first check the correlation matrix. You can see these your features and this is your target and this is your feature. So with the help of this matrix we can analyze what is the correlation between the features and the target. But if you have like 1000 features, you cannot like plot this, or you cannot like display this. Even you will not be able to get anything, because that will take too much time. So same thing if I am going to plot this particular, okay, you will not be able to visualize properly once you have 1000 features, right? And anyhow if you are able to plot, then you will not be able to understand anything, because that will take too much time. So what we used to do, we create some functions where I am going to mention the data frame, complete data frame, and the threshold value, whatever the threshold value we want to put here. So here I am going to first create the your list, empty list, where what I will get those columns which have coefficient greater than threshold value. So whatever the threshold value we will get, if our columns or the features have a coefficient greater than those threshold value, those columns will be available inside this particular list. That list I am going to return here. Okay, So same thing, I am going to use the threshold. This I and j, what this will tell you, this will provide you this particular cell 0.25 or this particular one cell. If this particular coefficient is greater than or equal to the threshold, then it will append this particular call core, this particular list. Let's check. So what I am going to do, I am going to using the threshold 0.7 and all the data set. So here what I am getting the atemp column. It means all the remaining column have a threshold less than 0.7. So that's why this column is only remaining. So this column we can use to perform the model training with the help of target. But if you see here, we have many columns here, okay, and the count. So what we did, we checked the correlation coefficient value of each the features, and if the coefficient value is less than, threshold value, we ignore that particular feature, and if this coefficient value is greater than threshold value, then we select that particular feature. So this way I am only getting the atemp column. Only I am going to select the only this particular column in our data set. This is your atemp and this is your target. So this way we have only two columns in our data set. One is your features, one is your target. But if you see here, there are some other variables we also have, like season, holiday, which don't have any positively correlated or the negatively correlated. It doesn't have any correlation. Either it could be positive or the negative. You see the graph, right, doesn't have a proper correlation because these are the discrete data set we have, like season, holiday. We have only two values. These are the binary data set. This is your binary, this is your binary, but this is your, seems like your discrete data set. We have only 4 values, or we can say the nominal data set. So if we have this type of the data set, so we cannot like directly delete this particular column, because might be the season, holiday might have some important information, and by using the correlation method we can delete this particular feature. But ideally we should ignore the correlation method to perform the feature selection on this type of the data set. If our data set is linearly, then we can perform, even though we cannot also use the correlation method to check the collinearity between the, note this point, between the features and target. We avoid this. We don't perform the correlation between the features and target. This will only tell you which features has a better correlation with the target. That you can include, but the remaining feature that doesn't have any correlation with the target, it means that we cannot directly delete those features. Might be those features can have some useful information, right? So we should always avoid this type of the technique to get a relationship between the features and target. What we can do, we can get the correlation between the features, right, between the features. We will not include the target here. We will only include the features, and we will perform the correlation. It means we will check the multi-collinearity, right? If you see here, this feature, temperature and air temperature, you see both the data are same. It means both the features seems like collinear. So what we can do, we can remove one of the features, right? So this way we can filter out the features in our data set, and in this way we can perform the feature selection in the features, not the features and the target. So we should always check the multi-collinearity to perform the feature selection with the help of correlation method, only between the features, not the features and target. If you see here, what I am going to do now, I am going to check the independent features. It means only features. Same thing, same function I am going to use here, but here what I am going to do, I am going to use the features only, df features. What is the DF features? If you see here, DF feature, I have dropped the count. It means target column here. So here you can see I am getting all the columns. Okay, except this A column has been deleted because this is highly correlated with the temp. So this way we can use the correlation method. So in summarize, we can say that if we have some features, okay, these are some features we have, let A, B, C, and this is your target. Okay, so what we can do, we can check the multi-collinearity between these features. Okay, if A feature is correlated to B or B is correlated to C, we can see that all the three are correlated to each other. So we can remove the remaining two features B or C and only keep the variable A in our data set. And by using this A and target T, we can train our model. But if A and B only correlated and C is not correlated, then we can only delete the either A or B. In that case, we will use B and C and your target. But if we will perform the collinearity between the features and the target, features and the target, in that case, what we will get which features is highly correlated with the target. But this will not tell you whether we should keep this feature or not, because it is a negatively correlated, highly negatively correlated, but it doesn't mean that you can delete this particular feature. Might be this feature can have some information that is required for your modeling, so we should not use this particular technique between the feature and the target. We can check this feature for the multi-collinearity between the features. This way we can perform the multi-collinearity to perform the feature selection. That's it from my side for today. I hope you will like this video. If you will like, please share this video with your friends and colleagues and subscribe my channel. Thank you.